Wystik Witchy Emporium, which essentially, here is a little mini version of it here. My table, a magical table I've been having at Zine Fest. It's a collection of, it's a collection of magical treasures, most of the ones I've made, but I've got a few others that I've collected on the way. For example, 𝕎𝕐𝕊𝕋𝕀𝕂 magazine, which is like the folk horror tales of like, it's quite British actually, but it's like visually very beautiful. Always attracts people to the table. I've got a couple of little pamphlets from Fiddler's Green. It's very like whimsical, very nicely printed. A few of these treasures. And so I had my last Zine Fest at Hungry Eyes, which was amazing. I'll show you a bit of footage of my table there in all its glory. So that was the table with all the treasures. I've just got a miniature version today. I'd like to give you a tour of my treasures. So, first things first, the zine that I was, as I said, working my little witchy socks off to get ready for the Zine Fest is this one. So it's this zine. It doesn't really have a title, but I call it like Berlin Witches. Basically, it's a story about a queer, anarchist collective of witches based in Berlin. We have 3 volumes here. They're all very tiny. So, of course, it also comes with a little magnifying glass so you can work out what is going on in this story. And so, I'd actually like to read you the first volume, if I may be so bold. So let's have a look where it is inside. Let's get reading. In Berlin, a terrorist conspiracy of witches sowed the seeds of chaos and discord across the city late Friday night, following the eviction of their infamous witch cottage, which they'd occupied for almost 34 years. From Mitte to Charlottenburg, individuals cloaked in red were sighted setting vehicles aflame, flinging bottles at buildings and dancing anti-clockwise around the crossroads, vowing for immediate justice against what they deemed to be an illegal eviction. 1,500 police officers could not contain their frenzied fury. Authorities are now searching for 3 unnamed individuals, last spotting heading in the direction of Teufelsberg. Oh, it was grisly, sir. Never seen anything like it. Half the lads are unable to speak, the rest just mumbling gibberish. We couldn't tell if there were 3 or 3,000 of them. Like spectral shadows they were, stalking through the night. Oh, that infernal laughter. It haunts me in my dreams. One of the squads has gone missing, sir. The Bavarian Brigade. Last seen heading in the direction of Teufelsberg. Meanwhile, in Teufelsberg, they killed Frieda and took Selina. Those beasts, those swine. Bloody Bavarian bastards just came here hungry for some action. And they kicked us out our cottage. Hush, Baba, it's not so bad here in the woods. But yes, don't you worry, those pigs will pay. I don't know where those voices came from, I've never read it like that before, but there you have it, the first volume of this little 3-volume magical tale. Now, the more astute Berliners amongst us might recognise this as the story of Liebig, or Liebig 34, which was a queer feminist anarchic squat that got evicted last October, just before blooming Corona winter. It got evicted. Real, like, overuse of police force in order to evict a feminist squat. The police reports and the media reports about this eviction were ridiculous. Like, so the story kind of developed on this story, like, and how ridiculous the newspaper is reporting, and it's like the story as if they were witches. So, for example, this one is like, shock, horror, photos of squatted anarchist filth revealed. Because a lot of the newspaper reports were like, oh my god, it was so messy, why didn't these women clean? So we've got like, why did these degenerate witches not use their powers to clean? And then this one says, well, normally we would, but we were busy casting our defence. Usually, when we've actually invited our guests, we at least take the time to use a broom. So that's the Liebig story. And yeah, it comes with this little magnifying glass. It's a mixture of, like, dialogue between witches, newspaper reports from good old Bio News, and police reports. Also, so it's made of, like, collages and my drawings. We've also got this amazing witch sticker, which comes from New Age Rage. Basically, I picked this up at the Zine Fest last year, and it's just iconic. It's been sat on my altar all the time, and it just looks perfect on here. So thank you, Eloise from New Age Rage, for letting me use this. I've also got some paintings from my friend Paul Gellert. Here's a little one there. Some really cool witchy images, which they look kind of tiny. Hence you've got the magnifying glass there to really appreciate them in all their glory. So thank you, Paul, for your contribution as well. So it looks amazing. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Got the witches there. And so if you're interested in having one, for all three plus magnifying glass, it costs €6.66, and the 66 from that is going to the Berlin Emergency Nightlife Fund, which helps like queer, trans and other vulnerable, precarious folk in Berlin, as we are still in a pandemic and nightlife is not what it was, so people are still struggling. So that's Witch Zine #1. Oh, also I forgot to add that the extract that I read already, which is the first volume, is in my Instagram highlights up there. So if you want to have a look and have a sneak peek, you can also look. But it won't be one of these amazing weird voices that I just did.